Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead is an anime that starts off incredibly strong. We meet our main protagonist, Akira, a very happy-go-lucky college student who just got this brand new job at this business. You know, he's so excited, so very happy about it. Everyone seems so nice. And then, over the course of 3 years, we see the Japanese working culture could just completely crush this poor soul, almost zombifying him in a way, taking away all of his ambitions, turning him into just a loser who stays at home all day when he's not working, and he's usually working, just completely crushing his soul. He has nothing going on in his eyes. And yet, when the world starts to crumble around him, when the zombie apocalypse happens, he could not feel more alive. Because Akira doesn't have to go into work tomorrow. We see him kill his boss who's been zombified and tell the girl that he's had a crush on for 3 years how he feels, who was also zombified, and banging his boss. I feel like, you know, maybe he could have not did that. He didn't need to do that. Like, as soon as I see some chick banging my boss like that, I'm not gonna, you know, me personally, I wouldn't do that, man. I wouldn't have zero feelings. Nothing but disgust for that person, to be honest, at that point, even if they are attractive. But that's just me. My point being, the first episode and, you know, the first two after that are pretty damn good. Him meeting up with his best friend again, and him seeing the girl whose name I forget already because we're gonna talk about that in a minute. Those two second and third episodes, those were pretty good too. But as the show goes on, and it's not very long, it's only 12 episodes, I found myself becoming more and more bored. Despite these zombies literally having blood of rainbows just like paint for some reason, this world is incredibly colorful. The animation is gorgeous. The females are incredibly nice to look at, especially the hot German blonde chick they meet along the way who's into Japanese culture. I don't think I could think of a hotter woman than that. Am I talking about cartoons? Yes, I am. You gonna fight me? I just couldn't help but almost fall asleep. In fact, I think I did fall asleep when watching it on my phone in bed, which probably is more so my fault. But why? Why, Dakacity? Why hasn't the person watching this subscribed yet? I don't know. I'm a small YouTuber. If you could like and subscribe, that'd be fantastic. But anyway, yes. Why the hell is Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead a disappointment, Dakacity? Why? Why is it? Why? Because by the end of it, it feels like nothing actually really happened. And during it, half the time it doesn't really feel like they're doing much. For example, Akira in the first episode literally kills his boss. You as a viewer thinks that is when, oh my god, he's getting rid of the corporatism out of his life. He's done with that thing. He conquered that mountain. Yet he meets another one of his bosses or disciplinary people or whatever, and he goes right back to being a drone. At the same time, the girl who's kind of his love interest, not really, is also contemplating about being in control and doing things by the book yet again. It feels like for each character, they kind of just retrace the same 2 or 3 different problems or just character developments over and over and over again. And by the end of it, it just feels like they didn't go anywhere. I think I already said that. See, I'm doing the same thing. And it's a damn shame because it, like I said, the show is gorgeous. I like the soundtrack. The intro is pretty cool. The characters are honestly pretty likable despite the character development being all over the place. And their motivations seem kind of stupid. Like Akira's just like, I want to have fun. But at the actual bucket list, first off, I watched it on Crunchyroll and I probably should have had the subtitles on. I did watch the dub, but I couldn't read the actual bucket list whenever it was on screen. Normally, they, kind of put like captions for the words. It wasn't doing that for me. That might have been my fault though. So I didn't even know what was actually on the bucket list unless the character openly exclaimed it. But that was just my experience. I'm probably just an idiot. But the bucket list gets old quick. The girl also has one for just staying alive. She barely actually touches on that too. They end up writing in Akira's bucket list instead, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of it because, like, why? It's supposed to be a person's thing. If a bunch of people all write their wants into a booklet, it's stupid. And one of Akira's wants was to have a night out with a flight attendant. Now, I understand there's a lot of stupid jokes in here. A lot of them don't land. There's a lot of fart jokes, even with the zombies, which, you know, I can handle one or two fart jokes, right? You know, I see, like, open my Instagram reel feed, okay? There's a lot of poopy fart nonsense in there, okay? But they just didn't land. I was just not a fan of it. And his best friend Kensho, he gets naked and shows his bare ass constantly and pee-pee. We don't see either of them. Whenever he's naked, there's like little squiggly lines over his private parts, which, you know, I'm fine with. That's fine. I don't want to see that. I know some of the commenters are definitely going to be like, yeah, you do, Dakosity. Anyone who's watched my streams knows I like to talk about penis a lot for some reason. Listen, that's just what happens when I get brain rotted. What am I talking about? But that's another thing, Kensho with the nakedness. It's just never funny for me when characters do that. And I like Kensho because he's funny and he's ripped. And you know what? I also like to work out, and I try to be really funny, so I can relate to him. His dream is to be a stand-up comedian. Mine is to be just, you know, like a clown for you guys in front of a camera. They're basically the same thing. But it just felt like such a slog after the first few episodes to even watch the damn show. And the pacing felt incredibly fast. Like they were going all over the place. They were visiting tons and tons of places in Japan. They would go from one story to another. It almost felt like an episodic thing, which I guess it kind of is. But it also felt incredibly slow. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. Now, I did a little bit of research. Apparently there were tons of like production delays. I went on Reddit. There were some pacing issues people had with it too. It would go from comedy straight to drama, then to fan service, then to like what felt like filler. Like there's an episode where they meet a guy who needs to build a treehouse, and then they build the treehouse, and then they leave the guy because the guy talked about how he misses his son, and then Akira's like, oh yeah, we gotta go and see my dad, which was what we were already doing. And yes, I understand that later in the show the tree guy saves him, but you could remove the tree guy from the story and it stays the same. To be honest, same thing with the flight attendant episode. Like half of these things didn't need to happen for them to get anywhere. It didn't change anything. At least they got the TV that they barely used, I guess, from the flight attendant episode. That whole thing was triggered by them needing to go like into an indoor mall to get a television. And honestly, it sends a pretty crappy message. The whole point of the entire show is clearly to kind of just live your life the way you want it. I know, very cringe. We've heard this saying 1,000 times, which I agree, you know, I partially agree with, right? You should be happy. You should enjoy the things you like to enjoy. But you're in a zombie apocalypse. The girl was right. You should be literally micromanaging everything you do. You need to stay alive, all right? This isn't the society you were once in where luxury is abundant and we take everything for granted. No. You're basically in nature now. And nature don't give a heck. They don't give a fuck. You screw up once, you're dead. You scratch your leg wrong, get infected, you're done. You need to take things seriously. And I get it. The point was to kind of take the girl's ideology, which is just super like micromanage, be completely safe all the time, make the best decisions possible, and then also take the just completely free and just dream loving Akira attitude and kind of meld them together, because that balance is how you should live life. But the girl was kind of a lot more right than Akira was when it comes to that, considering, again, zombie apocalypse. You should be taking it more seriously, dude. And it kind of spits in your face, because after they save Akira's hometown village from this goofy gang of evil people that show up in the last 3 episodes, where it's like an actual 3-episode arc instead of just doing this episodic kind of almost Walmart brand Avatar The Last Airbender type storytelling, where they're going to different places and it's kind of episodic, but they're also an overarching story type thing. But in here it's like, oh, the last 3 episodes we're gonna be in the hometown the entire time, and oh my god, there's these 4 evil people who they also have dreams that they want to do, but the dreams are bad because they want to hurt people, or he wants to assault a woman. But actually they're very sad villains, because they're just outcasts from society who took it the wrong way and never overcame that, right? This poor kid just wants to go swim in the pool, even though he's kind of a dick, because apparently he knows Kensho and Akira and met them, and he was even invited out to go eat with them, but instead he's like, oh no, you guys suck. suck because you're happy and then ran away like a little bitch. I'm glad he died. Oh, spoilers, by the way, even though you're not going to watch this probably. You can. Listen, it's not terrible. I enjoyed it, but I can't say I'm not disappointed as hell. Because I haven't seen many zombie animes before. So this was a pretty crappy first impression. I guess, does Tokyo Ghoul count? It really doesn't. They're ghouls, they're not zombies. It's completely different. Have I seen any zombie anime before? I've seen anime with zombies, like as like a minion for like necromancers and stuff. I don't think I've actually seen in like a full-on zombie apocalypse anime outside of this. Is that a normal thing? Is there a lot of those? There should be, right? I mean, it's a massive genre of like cliches and BS. I'm getting way off topic though. I've gone on so many tangents. I'm sorry. To conclude though, characters felt incredibly just underdeveloped, rushed. The tonal shifts were way too out of just nowhere. I can't believe they made a show where the main character, who's not even like actually superpowered in any way, punches a zombie shark in the nose and kills it. I don't know how you make that and make it boring. Also, to be honest, where were the zombie animals, man? There were some, right? There should have been way more. The zombie shark was cool as hell. It had like, it fused or something, or with zombie humans. So like it had human legs and feet and it was able to walk on land. We should have seen more of those. If that's in the manga, if there even is a manga, because half the time I guess there's a manga for anime. Oh no, actually this is Chinese or Korean and it's a anime only thing. That To Be Hero X, by the way, I'm gonna make a video on that. No more negative Dakosity, positive Dakosity here for that one. Oh my god, that show's so goddamn good. I already made one on it, but yeah, I was really disappointed with Psalm 100 Bucket List of the Dead. I also hate saying it, even though I've said it 3 times. The word. There's a lot of words in the title. That's another thing. That's another negative. 0 out of 10. No, I'm just kidding. It was basically mid. It was incredibly mid. If anyone in my audience who is a female who looks like the German woman, blonde hair, blue eyes, hit me up in the comments. Also, I got a new mic. Look at that. All right, love you guys. Like and subscribe. Like I said, next video is probably gonna be better than this one. I kind of just winged this, to be honest. I didn't have much to say, all right? Or maybe I did, I don't know. We'll see how long this actually turns out to be. Bye-bye.